Here's Muddy here. Just a little update. Got some work done on the Craftsman, I got some work done on the tow tractor, and I got a new project. So let's get going. Start off with the Craftsman GT 6000 barn find. I got the motor. It's all mounted, bolted down, ready to go. I actually tried starting it today and that didn't go over so well, but I'll tell you that. But I got it mounted, a couple pieces of angle iron across the frame. This is the motor mounted up. I had to move the motor over a good distance. Sorry for the light, I'm using a flashlight to help. It's dark, it's mean, it's fall. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But I had to move the motor over probably, let's see, that's the original mount hole, and there, let's see if we can get a picture. There is the motor mount. Original mount hole on the frame, motor mount. So I had to move it, close to 2 inches probably over towards the clutch side to get this for the belt and all that stuff to line up. Well, originally I got the wrong rods, so I ended up trading a guy on Facebook that I met, George Irwin. Should check him out. He's got some pretty good builds going on. Well, anyway, I traded him the 40 rods that I had got from the donor motor for this motor, and I traded him the 40 rods for a set of 42 rods, which are the stock size. So I put that all back together, and today obviously there's a temporary gas tank, the battery's mounted, it's all set up, the wire going to the starter, it's all set up to start normal, and I went to go start it and it wouldn't start. Well, I eventually started seeing some smoke come out of this area, so I originally thought, oh, well, they're not tight enough. So I went and tightened it, and I snapped the bolt. Sorry about the light. It's dark and I'm using my cell phone. But I snapped the bolt. That's why that one there has some washers on it, because the head I took that off of was a little bit longer. So I put some washers on it, and now we're good. But I'm gonna get a torque wrench tomorrow, and I'm gonna torque them down to spec instead of doing it by hand, because obviously I fucked that up. Well, anyway, with those head gaskets that were not working so well, because come to find out it was the head gaskets, I will show you that in a second. They weren't working. My heads were probably tight enough, but the head gasket weren't sealing, so that was the issue. Well, I ended up taking the original head gaskets. These here, if you can see it, you see the copper color on some and none all around here. It all just blew right off. This copper stuff is junk. This here, copper spray gasket, high temp, says it's good for head gaskets. Well, didn't work for me. So what I did was I took the head gaskets that were off of the donor motor and I put some Indian head, and now we're going to see if that works, because tomorrow I'm going to bring home the torque wrench from the shop. The torque wrench I have is just a piece of shit. It was a cheapo from friggin' Tractor Supply. It doesn't work the way it should. I can continue torquing on the bolt even after it gets the torque. I can still torque the bolt, so it doesn't work the way it should, I believe. So anyway, this here is now the heads are back on with the other gaskets, with the Indian head, not that copper stuff that just blew. I mean seriously though, look at the gasket. It just blew all the shit right off it. I mean, I cleaned the gasket up and got all the old stuff off, like I thought I was instructed to do. It may work for other people. It definitely did not work for me. So, the bearded Mutta is not a fan of the copper spray. We'll see if he's a fan of the Indian head tomorrow. So as of now, it's got new rods, good pistons, good rings, new spark plugs, all sealed back up, all put back together, no governor. I do have the stock carburetor on it for now, with a temporary gas tank, just so I can hear it run. Once I hear it run and I know it runs, I will then build my intake for the Mikuni style carburetor to attach to my foot throttle. I know it's dark. My cell phones, lights, main, junk. Anyway, then we got the tow tractor, because that's pretty much it for the Craftsman. It's about, oh, the other thing I did, I put a Murray wide body, or any Murray seat, but it came off a Murray wide body, because the original Craftsman seat was pretty well junk. Pretty easy modification. I'm going to bust out the flashlight again, try to light this up some. But the red plate was stock for the Murray, and then the black one on the frame, that was stock for the Craftsman. I just threw a rod through it, a couple spacers. I'm not 100% sure if I want this position, because with this setup I can't adjust my seat. So I'm going to flip it around and see if I like the seating then, before I completely mount it 100%. The tow tractor. The tow tractor's coming along pretty good. I got the other rear end mounted. I got the booms all pretty much done. I just need to add something to that end to lift on. But the boom's pretty much done. I need to add a support from here-ish down to the frame I built, which, like I said, I'm sorry about the cell phone, the video, the lighting, the whole 9 yards. But this is the frame I built to support it, and the supports that I put from here, those two coming near those two holes, I put them back to there, and then that comes back up to the frame, then over across, couple supports, same thing in the back, it comes up to the frame. That wasn't quite enough, so it bends slightly. You can't really see it, but when I tested it on that Craftsman, this arm here, it flexed like 1/8 of an inch. I just know over time, with bouncing and that sort of stuff on the trail or yard work stuff, it's gonna bend and break. So I'm gonna end up putting another support from here down to there, to the frame that I just showed you, and hopefully that stiffens it up. That's not the piece I'm going to use. I don't know what I'm going to use yet. That was just a piece long enough. That's pretty thin walled. I believe 3/4 or maybe 1 inch. I think it's 3/4 thick, not thick, but tall width. Probably 1/8 inch, 1/16 of an inch, maybe. It's not very thick. Just a piece of metal I had kicking around that was long enough for mock-up. The rear end, I ended up just mounting a junk spicer I had, and I mounted it on the outside, and as of now it's just a solid axle going straight through. I'm gonna put some lock collars and spacers so the axle don't move and all that stuff, and for now, and it's how I mounted the lift bar. There's a 3/4 axle inside a piece of square stock so it pivots. I do want to add a grease point to each side of that because it is a little bit annoying, but other than that, not bad. But I do want to add some grease points to it just so it's not so annoying. Eventually there will be some type of utility bed type of deal connecting them together. Kind of thinking tracks. Not 100% sure if that's what's going to happen, or if I'm going to run just dual chains, one off of each wheel, to this axle, or not. Not 100% sure. I kind of like the track idea, so we'll see where that goes. But this is my yard work machine this year. I cut up another Craftsman and pretty much put it on the back with a solid axle through the transmission. There's no gears, no nothing in it, just a solid axle with some grease, and then a Hoyer lift as my boom arm, and it will lift the front end or the rear end of this tractor. So I mean, it does pretty well. With a little bit more bracing, it'll do better. But my other project that I have, because the GT has been giving me some trouble, but I did end up picking this up. Little golf cart, easy go. It was a electric golf cart, but I'm going to convert it to gas powered. I know there's been people out there, I've watched a few videos, but this is how I'm going to do it. A little differently than from what I've seen other people do it. But this thing's in a little rough shape. It's not too bad, but I mean, I think I had 8, maybe 9 bottles, bags of bottles rather, is what I paid for this golf cart. So that was just, you know, bottles kicking around the house. This is a buddy of mine that does scrapping, so we make deals. But I'm gonna call it 9 bags of bottles, and that's what got me. And it doesn't have the batteries, doesn't have anything like that. But oh, check it. Check it. Get the stickers. But this is what I got mocked up so far. It's just all sitting in there. It's obviously not high enough for any of that, but and this probably not be the motor I'm going to use. But first motor I grabbed rather. It's an 11 horse Briggs flathead, and I got a 700 series transmission. I'm going to run a centrifugal clutch from the motor to the transmission, and then off of the output shaft with chain running back here to the electric rear end. Well, what I ended up doing is this shaft here, I pulled all the metal and copper and all that crap off of it so I could have the spline that fit. Let's get the flashlight again, hold on. That fits on that spline there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this on here. I am going to run a sprocket on that shaft down to the 700 series, centrifugal clutch over to the motor, so there's no clutching, but I will have all 5 gears, all 5 forward, neutral, and reverse gears. And yes, this is definitely going to be a project. It's going to be a winter project. I've done a little bit of work and research and figuring out what I'm going to do, but that's about as far as I've gotten. Like I said, this thing's in a little bit of a rough shape. Didn't come with the back part of it, so I'll have to build something. And I'm pretty much going to make this back section here, I'm going to make that wide enough to have possibly, hopefully, 2 seats comfortably, so I can get my kids and me and the wife, and we can all go out on a weekend adventure. Not 100% sure on how all this is going to work yet. This is all just in my mind. My thought is to have pillow blocks, top or bottom, however it works out, of this existing frame, and tie it back into the axle, so I still have suspension, and the motor and transmission all will move with the rear end, so there's no binding issues, none of that. Not 100% sure if that'll work. In my mind it's gonna work, so that's what we're gonna go with. The plan eventually is to have maybe not 12-inch rims, but I want to get at least 25-inch tall tires, front and rear, on this golf cart. And I definitely have to do some pulley researches and sprocket researches and all that good stuff, because from what I understand, this shaft moves 14 times to make the wheel spin once. So I gotta work that out between the motor, the transmission, and the rear end to have some type of speed and or wheel spin, so I can get rid of some mud, because obviously it's going to be 2-wheel drive. But the plan is definitely to have reverse, most likely going to have a winch. Not 100% on everything on this one yet. This is going to be a project that's not going to happen fully until probably next spring. But I just picked it up, so I'm starting the process of figuring it all out. The Craftsman, that will be back up and running, I'm hoping tomorrow, so I can get on the exhaust and intake and get the Makuni on it, get the exhaust running, get the hood back on. So far, I think I have to cut that half moon. It might not be that big, but I have to cut it some out of that hood mount to clear the motor cover for the flywheel. Other than that, I think the hood's going to fit good. I think there'll be enough room. I got play to the left and to the right of my pulley for alignment. So I think that should be up and running shortly. There should be a moving, running video of that within the next few days. This will take a while. This is going to get put aside for the winter. Like I said, I'm going to cover it. I might pull it out every now and again, who knows. This one still runs, still good. All I gotta do is permanently fix the rear wheels and come up with an end for the left arm. Other than that, she's still a moving tractor. This one over here, on the other hand, is aggravating me. But hopefully tomorrow, when I get home from work, I get a torque wrench, torque them down, we'll be good. Fingers crossed. Oh, one other thing. This milk crate here. I don't know if you guys know this or not. This is a cool little life hack. Some of them you have to cut this center square out completely, but some of them it'll fit right through. But this is what I mount, or store rather, my motors on, is a milk crate. So that way they're not just leaned up, you know, they're sitting like they're supposed to. Looks a little neater. It's a little easier to carry it when you can grab hold of a milk crate. But that's what this motor was on. Let me know you guys' ideas for this. I haven't seen anybody do this idea, so I think I might be the first one to do it. If I'm not, correct me. But I think this is gonna work. There'll be no clutching. It'll just be gas and brake. And you know, it's either I figure out if first gear is the gear to run in, fifth gear is the gear to run in, whatever. But I will have full range of shifting. I mean, obviously that's not in my mind at the moment. This is still mock, so I have no clue how that's going to work yet. I'm thinking something off of right about there, coming through this, we'll call firewall here. Almost like a regular, you know, almost like this one. Just slide back and forth. So, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, the pulleys on this one's going to be interesting. The gear ratio is going to be fun. But, until the next video, that will be, it's going to have to wait, because, like I said, this one's going to take work. My main priority is the Craftsman and the tow tractor at the moment. The Craftsman is eventually going to get the plow put on it. So there will be a plow on the GT by the end of the, or before, hopefully before snow flies. And other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it for the update. He said, apologize again for the lighting. I'm running off of a light on the inside of here and my outdoor light over there. And a flashlight. Using my cell phone. So I apologize. Don't hate me, guys. But anyway, till the next video. If you haven't commented, liked, subscribed, you should. I also have a Bearded Mutters Basement Facebook group that anybody is welcome to join. It's all about all of this. Whatever you want to post, whatever you want to do, this is what it's about. So like I said, it's the Bearded Mutters Facebook group. Just go on there, look it up, search it, click add. Me or one of the other admins will, you know, add you up. Show us all your ideas. Always looking for new cover photos. So, till the next video. Like this comment. Oh, don't even like the comment. Like the video. Subscribe. Comment on the video. Let me know what you think. Bearded Mutter out. Have a good night.